Hello, today we are going to go over the user profile and the user settings for the Allied Risk system. My name is Jacob. I'm a business dev on the team. So if we go up to the top right here to our user picture, we can go into user profile and we can look at licenses and adding licenses. In here, you will click add license and you can type in your license number, whatever it may be in here. And once you add it, if your name matches, it will add that license to your list of licenses. Here, this is a development account, so I have all the licenses. Here is your schedule for the day. Things like time that you want people to be able to contact you or schedule meetings will show up here in the middle, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, depending on when and how you work. I have mine set from 9 to 11, and then I took a lunch hour off plus extra time just in case I didn't want. Sometimes I go at 12:30, sometimes I go at 12, who knows, and then 2 to 5. As well as remote workers, this could be way more irregular, or you could set every time to be available, just so you see those messages, or allow people to schedule things kind of whenever. It is very much up to you. Same goes for holidays. We have our default holidays that we have for Allied Risk, but you can take extra days off as well. If I wanted to take 5 days for Independence Day for whatever reason, I could do that, or the full week of Thanksgiving, 5 business days. Also, things like time zone can be changed here. We are Eastern time as we are in Florida. Account, this is how you change your email or password that is directly related to your personal. This does not change your Allied business account being your name.lastname@alliedrisk.com. And you could also change your password with the 2auth set here. You put it in there, will send you a reset password link to your personal email that you have, which again is related to this. This is time off. This is everything outside of those holidays I showed earlier. This can be for whatever reason, you're not going to be around, you're on holiday, you're out with the family. You can set these times here. So if I wanted to take off this Friday and I wanted to take it off from 8 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon of the same day, then I can do that. PM. And I can add that time off and it will show up in here. This will show you active, past, and all ones we've ever set up. That is about it for the user profile. Now we can go into, that also includes time off, that just takes you here. User updated picture. We can browse and add a little personal. This will show up in your contact emails that you have with any customers. You can go into here, you can add a new user picture, and you can update that and it will show up in the top right. The last thing I wanted to show you is the agent virtual card. The agent virtual card is just essentially data that you can pull up on the side, kind of like a business card of sorts, but more digitalized. You can pull this up on your phone and you can show other people. They can scan the QR and they can get all of their info added into their contacts. Yeah, that's about it. Other than that, it's just sign out. That is all for the agent profile and user settings. Hope that was helpful and have a great day. And we're back. Now that we've done the user profile, we will continue in this video with going over the general navigation of the ARP portal system. First off is new submissions. This is where you generally have all your products, and depending on your specific license, those are the products you will be able to quote. Hence the personal lines being all personal lines products, anything from auto, boat, condo, motorcycle, homeowners, you get it. Business would be commercial flood, general liability, cyber professional liability, commercial property, and work comp. as well as some others we have on the way. Down here is carrier portals. Those are external services for other lines of business, like essentially commercial auto, that we can't fit in here. Hopefully our carrier portals will allow that. Next up is the virtual advisor. This is a general advisor of I don't know where to put this client's business, or I would like a little bit of insight as what products I can offer him. And you can simply go through here and it will ask you a series of questions, and it will give you what products it thinks is best for your client's needs. Next is My Clients. My Clients is going to be a list of your customers and all their information, everything from submissions, policies, contacts, activities, messages, notes, and documents. You can edit your customer. You can send them a scheduler where they can schedule a meeting with you, and you can send them messages via email or text. Next is Leads. Leads is a general view on businesses in specific industries, zip codes, and then business names, and even the owner of the business's name. You can go through here, select what you want, put that information in, search it, and it will retrieve business data. But that is for a longer video that we will do later. Next is My Insights. My Insights will give you a general look into how much premium you've written, your estimated commission for this month, your pending proposals, your pending renewals, and your pending settlements. This shouldn't happen all too often, as we do have most of our one-pay stuff through a finance company, and they deal with the settlement of the payment. We don't really want you having to chase money around for your customers, so this one shouldn't be too much of an issue. Property Insights gives you a general look into an address and what its data is, different information on that structure to help you quote it better and to give you a general idea of location and pricing. That'll be all for this video. Thanks for joining me to look at some of the navigational tabs in the Allied Risk program. In this video, we will be talking about the site assistant or the assistant. The site assistant brings a lot of great features to the ARP portal. Everything from tasks to messaging to calendar to notifications and to a generalized search across the whole system. It also offers things like hints about products, information either to new agents or to returning agents that just need refresher on what some of this stuff means or what this product does. It also provides information on inputs when you're inside the quote itself, which is very helpful in a lot of cases. Going back to the original, in the first thing we'll look at is tasks. Tasks in the site assistant are great for workflow productivity. We have automated tasks that will populate as you start new quotes and are going through quotes, complete and send to quote to customer. Things like bind and submit and payment collection stuff all pops up in here. If it's something you can currently do, like completing the quote, it will be in the actionable task. And if it's something that you're waiting on, like you have sent an email to a client and are waiting for binder back, it will go into the pending, so you know kind of what you can do and what you're waiting on. It also allows you quick access to look at the information provided about said customer on the task or the submission that you posted with this task specifically. From here you can add new tasks being anything from call new client to get information about said customers, entity, business, whatever it is. We can set this to we'll actually make this an actionable task, so it's not a pending task. We're going to call new client, and we are going to set it to our test customer. We need to call him by Friday at 3 p.m. and we will create this task, and then that task will pop up here as due date being Friday, and it wants us to call new client. We can add notes to this task, such as needs better rate, and we can add it to that customer so we can go through and keep good notes on what we need to do for this specific task. We can also complete and abandon the task. We'll say we completed this task, and it will go away from your task. Next is the messaging. The messaging is nice because you can be going through different things throughout the portal, such as creating a new quote, clients, leads, etc., etc. And as you're doing that, you don't necessarily want to get out of that, but you want to message your customer. So if we go in here and we are going through that test customer's portal, we can email or text him and say, hey, I need the roof year on your household. And we can send that to our customer, and hopefully he responds speedily with the information, right? Next is the calendar. The calendar is a scheduler for the customers, your customers specifically, and this goes back to that user profile. The times and stuff you have submitted for when you would like to be working, or you would like users to be able to schedule calls with you and such. Those will pop up in here if anyone has scheduled a call with you. Yeah, and then next is notifications. Notifications will pop up when you are quoting or rating something, and we will see this as we continue on with these videos and we go through some quotes. It'll pop up if you leave a quote that you had previously rated but it hadn't completed. Once that rating is done and things like that, it will pop up in your notifications. You can click on it and head straight back to that quote if you were doing something else. Last but not least is the search. Search is a great tool, especially if you are using the system on a daily basis or creating a lot of quotes. Is you tend to lose stuff and you don't necessarily know where to find or how to find it. This lets you search everything from numbers to names to just submission names or your quote name, and you should be able to find whatever you are looking for. That is all for the side assistant. Hopefully that was helpful, and I will see you guys next time. Welcome back. In this video, we will be going over the My Clients tab. In the My Clients tab, it shows your customers. Customers can have the same phone and email. So obviously be careful with making duplicates and things of that nature, but you can always go in and edit them if need be. This is the customer information. You can edit this here, and then this is the contact information for the customer. It can be a little confusing at first, but we separated this due to the fact that many customers can have multiple contacts. Like if John, defers his insurance stuff to his wife, I would still consider John, being the one who's still paying for it, the primary insured. But obviously, if his wife is handling the insurance details and answering the questions about the home, then she would be another contact on this list. Simply adding contacts and filtering contacts based on the customer. This is a little bit more obviously used in the business sector, where you might have a lot of contacts for a singular business depending on how big they are. Another thing for this is the submission section. In the submission section, you can click this and it will go straight to the quote in question. And then we can head back simply by clicking John at the top of a quote. Another thing is the policies. When you have a complete finished inbound policy, they will pop up in the policy tab. Next is contacts. We went over this already. Next is activity. This is different stuff that John has done or that we have done to John's account. So in this, we see that John's was created, the contact John Doe was added to this customer, and then we recently sent that proposal out in the last video to John for homeowners. So all good things, let you keep track of different things that are coming down the pipeline for John. We don't have many upcoming events set in the system right now, but once these are old enough, they will go to past, and then this is all. And you could filter through those if you're looking for something specific that had happened. Messages. So these are messages that were automated by us sending out the quote proposal to John, like, hi John, here is opportunity, here's your quote that you can look at, here's my scheduling link that you can schedule, again, the calendar calls from and meetings, and then your name, your picture, and your stuff. We do not load pictures and files in here due to security risk and things being sent that are inappropriate to our agents. And again, this is more quote info. In our notes, here we can add notes about the customer. John needs a auto quote renewal in 2 months. And that can be left there for other people to look at if you send them this information, or obviously yourself being reminded about certain things for an individual, especially if it has a claim on home pending. Stuff like that, if you're wondering about, obviously writing new business or doing something else with him, you keep in mind of what you have written down in the past. Next is documents. These documents will be things like the quote document that was sent out. Also, once it is bound, you will get the policy document in here as well. And you can download it straight from here, and it'll go into your downloads, and you can take a look at that. Other than that, we can add our own documents in here if need be. And in terms of the contact information, that is about it. Touching up on the last thing is we can, like I said, edit the customer. We can send out our schedule straight from the top icon to our primary contact for this would be John, and we can send it by email. They'll get it and they can schedule a meeting with you. And again, you can send a message through the messaging icon on here, text or email. That is it for the My Clients. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Welcome back to another Allied Risk Portal video. In this video, we will be going over leads. Leads are not traditional leads like you're thinking, not like hot leads, like call this number, cold call these 20 people every day, blah, 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 stuff like that. In our scenario, it is more software driven, and ours are just info gathering on potential things you would want to write. So in this situation, we can see that we have the ability to add these inputs into our search. So if I know that we write good, let's say restaurants in a certain area, I would go in here and I would add the area, and then I would add the industry. And we mapped a lot of class codes and a lot of NAICS to specific words and verbiage that help you find kind of what you're looking for in our industry search tool. Here we'll go restaurants carry out. I think that's a majority of restaurants. And we will search. This is them loading in. And as they load in, it might take a little while for this data to come in general, just because it goes out and it gathers all the info for a very specific search in a very vast database that is kind of across the US. And in these scenarios, you can leave this and let that search while you're doing it to go and look up something else. Like say I wanted to look at a random address. And this is good for personal and kind of falls in line with the leads too, because it's similar data in some cases. If we wanted to look at this address, we could easily do that with Property Insights. This helps you for maybe quoting things like home owner's insurance or even business insurance, and it'll give you some interesting general info and data about the home that maybe you can use to start quoting it before having to ask your customer a bunch of questions. And now that that is done, we can go back to leads and see that probably all of these have loaded in. Here we can go into these. We can see phone numbers. We can see how long they've been around. We can see estimated expenditures on the business, stuff like this. This property has been claimed already by someone else, so you cannot go in there yourself and grab this lead specifically. Someone else is looking at it, and these get freed up every so often if a quote isn't made for them. So let's look at the next one. BurgerFi. If we did restaurants really well and we really wanted to contact them about a quote or about something, and you can do this with all types of businesses. You can do this with coin laundries, businesses. It's just things you know that our system writes well or our products write well, and we will do our best to let you know that in email updates for your specific regions. We will try our best to keep you updated on the products that we think we could do really well there, and that will help you in your own search for leads. And so from here, we can look at the data. We can start a quote automatically. Say they needed GL and commercial property, and we can begin a quote straight from here, and it will load us into the quoting process with some of these details already filled out about the business, and we can continue from there. Another thing we search up is workers' comp. Workers' comp all has to be sent directly under a specific FEIN employee and Date County record. Currently, this only works for Florida. And then personal lines leads is the same. You can set a zip code and a home value, and it will go out. And if we wanted to find something between, say we write really good business between 500 and 750 homes in a specific area. Oh, this is Florida. Is a little bit more expensive in certain areas than others, but it will come up and it will give you these. The phone numbers are a little more rare on these only because of personal soliciting, but you can get the information on estimated cost and things like that. And in a good amount of cases there are phones, but in this one there are none. That is all for leads and the look into leads. Hopefully this helps you understand a little bit more of what that's about. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye. Welcome back to the Allied Risk Partners portal. Today, or for this video rather, we are going through the new submission process. The new submission process is a little bit longer of a video and has a few things that are attached to it. So we will bring in things for like the site assistant, which kind of connects into the workflows of how everything goes with the submissions. And then we will also talk about some of the hint feature stuff as we go through the product. So we will begin with a more common product, homeowners. We will start that here, and as you can see, we can look up past personal lines customers, or we can create a new one. In this case, we are going to create a new one, and we're going to name that new one John Doe, just generic information. Perfect. Email is johndoe@gmail.com. And as we go through this, we can keep the hints open so you can kind of see what stuff is being added. We will add just random information, just a random address I know from our area. This isn't going to correlate. As you can see, some of the inputs start coming up. We're going to say we started living at this house a week ago. This is the primary residence. We own this home. This is our date of birth. Say is a bit in the past. We are male. And before continuing, please review and acknowledge the below customer disclaimer. This you have to tell your customer and make sure that they understand that all this stuff comes into effect when calculating the price of a rate. I have read that to the customer. Continuing on, this is household members. This is the generic information of our customer. In this, just generic data. You can add a little bit more, not too much more, but if you wanted to know middle name, suffix, stuff like that. Continuing on, you can also add more members to the household, wife, kids, such and such. Next is the location. This is like I said, just random location. It's not going to pull up any data or anything. It is just random. So we are going to continue as we go through here. You will see we will not get a rate on this home, but you will be able to see the process, and then I'll go back and give it a valid address. So going through here, these are just some questions that you can look through as well if we wanted to know what foundation type was specifically, exterior wall construction was, exterior finish, and it highlights them as you go through. And here we go. How many fireplaces? This is Florida, so none. We have a built-in garage, and we have, let's say we have 3 bath, and normally built quality bathroom and kitchen. 2001, we're going to say we don't have any updates since the home has been built. Theft alarm, no. Fire alarm, yes. We have one in the home. We have a deadbolt lock, and we have a fire extinguisher. Perfect. Now going back to the tasks, we can see that this John Doe quote was created, and we can see that we have started the automated workflow process, and it wants us to complete and send the quote to customer. We will complete and send this quote to a customer. So now we're just going through, we're still answering some of the questions. Are you retired? Is this residency type? What is it? Is it a townhome? Is it a dwelling? Is it a duplex, triplex? So on and so forth. And again, you have some of this stuff to help you classify things. Who was the prior carrier? We're going to say this was a new purchase and that it hasn't been vacant since 60 days after purchase. Here we go. Do you have any prior losses? We're going to say no to this. This stuff comes in Stillwater decline, Vave decline in your notification. So if I went out of here and did something, I could see that that stuff is finished, come back in and complete it. Now obviously this is not a real home, therefore it was unable to verify in Stillwater's database what the address was, and then also same with Vave. It says incorrect floor area and such because it is not accurate to the information we put in. So in this case, you would Essentially, if you had put in the right data and you still got declines on your product, you would request a quote. In this request a quote, I would say, hey, my stuff has declined. Say nothing rated for my client's home. And you can send that to directly to our backend team. That is where these emails go, and because it's personal lines, it will go to our personal lines team. And what they will do is they will get a link to your quote so they can see all of the information provided, and they will submit that information out to the vast number of carriers we have in the back end of the house. Obviously, these are specially integrated carriers that we work with on a day-to-day basis, and we have hooked into their API, they've hooked into our API, so on and so forth. But we have a lot more products in the back end that we can submit out to different MGAs and different carriers. Now that you've seen that, we will go back and we will change the homeowner's location so we can give it a valid location. We're going to remove this one, and we are going to add a location in North Tampa that I know is an actual home. Just looked it up on Zillow not too long ago. Here is the property. We're going to say single family detached, and as you can see, it pulled in some of the data of the home, not all of it, but some of it. It'll pull in, since it was an accurate address that was a home, pulled in stuff like year built, exterior walls, family unit, what type, I added that number of stories and such, and gave us all our property data that we would expect. Foundation type, we're going to see concrete slab because it's Florida. Let's go hip. And then composite, composition, 3-tab shingle. Going back through here, it does have a garage. This is yes, it's a newer home. And no, there's no fireplaces. Continue. Yes, these are the year updated. This is the same stuff we had put in before. These are safeguards that get added to the home. We're going to keep them the same, and then all this information is still the same. Yes, we just bought it, and this is information about the person who is your client purchasing the home. Again, no losses, and then we will continue into the quote rating portion. Perfect. Now that we have both quotes back from their respective companies, we can look at the rates and see that this is vastly cheaper than our Stillwater quote. You can see your estimated commission on how much you would get, the monthly price if they were to finance, and the one-time payment if they were to go that route. So for whatever reason, we can go in here, see maybe why it's cheaper. Maybe it's deductible, maybe it's wind, maybe it's the coverage amounts. If the client wants a specific coverage A or anything of that nature, you can change it and then save it. Coming down here, you will see the eligibility questions for the property. Has the risk suffered any water damage loss in the past 5 years? We're going to say no, because we're trying to keep our rate here. Obviously, you say accurately to whatever your client information can give you, or whatever you find informationally on the home. We are going to re-rate it from that point. Now that the quote is re-rated and has come back, we have answered the eligibility questions, and it has a effective date that is in the future. We can attach this quote to the proposal, a proposal that we then send to the customer. Once we've attached it, we can detach it, or we can head straight to the proposals, or we can go back to our carriers. We're going to head straight to the proposal. In this proposal, we can see again, the same information, just laid out. We can add notes before we send this to the customer, like I hope you like the rate. You can save that, and then once it's saved it, and the quote document is attached, then we can send it either by email or by email and text. Another thing to note before we send it, we also have cross-sale opportunities. In this case, it's a personal lines quote, so there's not a ton of terms of cross-sale of similar products. In a work situation, there might be a ton of crossover, and you'll see that in a minute when I go over a little bit of the virtual advisor stuff. Going back to proposals, once we send this, it will show as sent, and you can see when you sent it, and you can see what the rate was when you sent it then. You can also go ahead and download the quote doc to view it. Some of the other things I'd like to note in here are the up top icons. From here, if you're using your phone or if you're using Google Voice, you can call your customer. You can also message your customer directly from inside the quote if you didn't want to use the message feature in the side assistant. Another thing you can do is toggle the priority of the quote. You can change it to urgent. And then lastly, again, you can pull up the help thing from inside the tab. One last thing to show you before we end the new submission section is the virtual advisor. So if we were to come in here and we were to click on business, say our customer came in and they were like, hey, I have this business. Then we started asking them a little bit of questions about it to figure out things like, what projects should I sell this guy? Or what do I think fits his business to keep him safe from majority of angles? And first one is how many employees does he have? Is it just him, or is it one or more? We're going to say it's one or more. In addition to the owners of the business, does the company have a board of directors? We're going to say no to that one. It's a smaller business. What does the business operate out of? We're going to say he rents a property. What does the business specialize in? We're going to say provides service, most businesses. Who owns the vehicles of the business? We're going to say he doesn't use vehicles for his business. What type of sensitive data is stored on the business card? We're going to say they sell items, so credit cards. And this is all the products it would give you in the case of answering those questions and what it thinks and why we recommend it and what it covers. Just a good comprehensive understanding of, hey, these are all the angles you could be vulnerable to a heavy loss. From here, you can also just begin the quote, and it'll launch you straight into the quoting process we just saw on the side, answering all the questions for each of the individual products, and then you will be able to see the quotes all throughout. Last thing I want to note before we wrap up is now that we have moved our quote from once we've sent it to the customer, from our proposal page, it will move from actionable, because now we have completed the action that we wanted, to pending, meaning that the customer has to take action for us to continue. So in this case, we're waiting on the proposal response. And then here you can see a quote that was toggled with priority, saying urgent, and it moves to the top. We can click the date and set when this needs to be done by. Say it needs to be done by next Wednesday, and it will adjust it accordingly. Thank you for listening. I hope you made it to the end, and have a great day. Hope you understand the quoting process a little bit better. Bye. Hi, and we're back with another Allied Risk Services video. In this video, we are going to go over the multi-quote and the issuance features to kind of give you a perspective on how you would wrap up a multi-quote and also what the customer is going to be seeing on their end. So if you need to direct your customer in a specific way, you'll have a better understanding having seen it before. So we're going to use a good amount of the tools we used over the course of this series and of these onboarding / tutorial videos. The first one is, so we're going to go to a quote that we've already made for the sake of brevity and time. We pre-made it. We've actually done this video a few times, but we messed up and then was accidentally muted for the whole one. So we're going through this again. So we're going to go over here to our pending quote. This one is Phil's Workplace, and it is a general liability and professional liability quote. We're going to head over to the submission. And another way to do this, while we're looking at it on both ends, is we could also just go to Phil's Workplace, we could go to the submission, and we could go to general liability and property submissions. We could click on either of these submission. So once we are in here, we can take a look over the business really quick, see that it is a bunch of made up Phil Crunch, Phil's Workplace. We can look at the business details, see that he owns an accounting firm, go into the details, see that he has 4 employees, 540 in payroll, and the location is Jacksonville, Florida. Go into the general liability, see that the only question there is square footage, and then the professional liability doesn't need anything because it was already filled in with all this information, and it knows that, so it gives us no questions required. Now we go into the quote rating process. We didn't change anything, so it's not going to re-rate from us earlier. So if we go into this quote, we can see that we have filled it out with the different information, the effective date, and the eligibility questions for the specific general lines. We can save all that. We can go into the proposals, and we can see that we have added it there. Hiscox is the same, both Hiscox quotes. This is the PL. You can see that we got a different set of eligibility questions for the PL, what we do, what our business is about, do we maintain valid professional training, certificates, licenses, etc., etc., etc. What's our primary client, stuff like that. We saved, we attached it to the proposal, and now we can go to the proposals. In the proposals, you can see what we sent out. Boom, our proposals. Like I said, we've done this video once or twice now, but this third time's a charm. So we sent these out here and here. After we sent these proposals, now it's to that side that I was talking about of the customer. This isn't what you're going to be seeing, but this is to give you a better understanding of what your customer sees. So after you send these out and you are cool with the rates and you add your notes of what you wanted to tell them, you can go, here is the temporary email we made, and then you can see the 2 different emails for the 2 different proposals that we send out once this loads here. So here it is. This was the second one we sent at 2:42. And then from here, you'll see the email that gets sent. Phil, hey, opportunity, happy to be your agent. Let's schedule a call if you want to talk about the quote, or here you can view your quote right here. We're going to open this in another tab. And then your customer will load in here. There it is. Okay, and from here, they can choose, again, this is the customer seeing this, they can choose how they would like to pay. Now, it can be monthly, or it could be a one-time payment, depending on however, the funds they have accessible and what they think is best for them. In each case, we are not chasing the money. This goes through either the carrier themselves or a external finance company. At the end of the day, we really don't want you as the agent kind of having to harp on somebody to pay for their insurance, so we let other people do that for us wherever we can. So once they choose this, they can look at the quote doc itself and see if that is appropriate for what their needs are for their business, and then they can accept this important legal information, basically fraud warning and statements about business, claim history, and everything like that. And then they will say, yes, I've read these statements, I agree to the insurance policy, and I have read all the information that has been provided. Once they do all that, they can then purchase now. And then from here, they will just obviously do the normal things it takes to pay for anything really online. Name of card, the amount you owe. In this case, it is the down payment first, which is $81.60, and then on this one is the full term payment of 50350. Credit card info, CV, type. The types we accept are Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and then the expiration information. Once they do that, they can click the complete, and it will process the payment, and it will say finished. It will change the card to completed information, and then it gets sent to us. Once it's sent to us, we will be notified and we can submit it into the system, and then the system will notify you. It's kind of how that process works. You will know it's been bound, and then you can follow up with your client as you see fit. That is pretty much the entire process. Quickly overviewed, of course, of just having a multi-quote, what it looks like, kind of gets sent as a double proposal, but all in one place, where they can pay for it as they go. They're two separate quotes because a lot of times they can be done through different companies. On this one, it just happened to be a Hiscox, which is a nice little bundle thing. And yeah, that is it for the multi-quote and issuance process. It will look a little bit different for the other companies. It will look exactly like this. It will just say, instead of, obviously the Hiscox stuff, this will be Stillwater and IPFS, and it will go through that process. Hope you have a wonderful day, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thank you.